A prophet was riding toward money when his donkey suddenly stopped. Not once, not twice, 3 times. And then the animal spoke. But this was not a miracle meant to comfort him. Something had gone spiritually wrong, because standing in the road ahead was an angel holding a drawn sword. And the prophet never saw it. Israel was moving through the wilderness, and everywhere they went, nations trembled. Victories were happening too fast. Kings were panicking. Rumors spread across the land like wildfire. Entire cities were terrified by what they heard about the God of Israel. No army seemed able to stop them. No king felt secure anymore. And one ruler became desperate enough to seek supernatural help. His name was Balak, king of Moab. And when he looked across the land and saw the Israelites spreading through the wilderness, fear consumed him, because he believed Israel was too powerful to defeat in battle. So instead of preparing more soldiers, he searched for a prophet, a man known for spiritual power, a man people feared, a man named Balaam. People believed Balaam carried influence in the spiritual world. They believed whoever he blessed became blessed, and whoever he cursed fell into ruin. Kings respected him. Nations feared him. And Balak decided to hire him, not to pray, not to seek peace, but to curse the people of God. So messengers were sent carrying silver, gold, and promises of great honor. The men arrived at Balaam's house with rewards in their hands and desperation in their voices. They explained Balak's request carefully. "Come and curse Israel for us." At first, Balaam sounded careful, almost righteous. He told them he could only say what God allowed him to say. And that sounded holy, wise, spiritual. But underneath those careful words, something dangerous was already growing inside him. Greed. The temptation of wealth. The temptation of power. The temptation of being rewarded by kings. That was where the corruption began. Not openly, not loudly, quietly, deep inside the heart. God warned Balaam clearly not to go with them. The answer should have ended the conversation. But then more officials arrived. More important men. More respected men. And this time they brought greater rewards, greater promises, more money, more honor, more temptation. And Balaam kept listening. That was the real danger. Sometimes destruction begins the moment someone keeps entertaining what God already warned them about. Balaam should have closed the door immediately. But instead, his heart lingered near compromise. He kept thinking about the reward, kept imagining the honor, kept entertaining the possibility. And eventually, he saddled his donkey and started the journey. Everything looked normal on the outside. The sun rose over the desert. The road stretched ahead peacefully. The servants traveled beside him. Nothing appeared dangerous. But heaven had already seen what was growing inside Balaam's heart. And somewhere ahead, on that road, an angel was waiting. Then suddenly, the donkey stopped. No warning, no explanation. The animal froze in fear, because standing directly in the road was the angel of the Lord, sword drawn, terrifying, radiant, deadly. But Balaam saw nothing. The prophet was spiritually blind, while the animal could see heaven clearly. The donkey immediately turned away from the road, trying to escape the angel. But Balaam became furious. He thought the animal was being stubborn, disobedient, worthless, and in his anger, he struck the donkey hard. The animal cried out and returned to the path. But the angel moved ahead again, this time standing in a narrow passage between vineyard walls. There was barely enough room to move. The donkey saw the angel again and pressed tightly against the wall, trying desperately to avoid destruction. Balaam's foot slammed painfully into the stones. Pain shot through his leg, and his anger exploded even more. Again he struck the donkey, again and again. What Balaam did not realize was that the donkey was saving his life. But spiritual blindness has a terrifying effect on people. It can make someone attack the very thing God is using to protect them. The angel moved ahead a third time. Now the path became impossibly narrow. No room to turn left. No room to turn right. No escape. The donkey saw the angel standing there with the sword drawn and finally collapsed beneath Balaam. The animal refused to move another step. Balaam lost control completely. His rage burned hotter. He struck the donkey once more. And then the impossible happened. God opened the mouth of the donkey, and the animal spoke. "What have I done to you, that you have struck me these 3 times?" The moment was terrifying, supernatural, unnatural. Yet somehow, Balaam answered back, as if speaking to animals had become normal. That alone showed how spiritually distorted the moment had become. Balaam shouted angrily at the donkey, "You made me look foolish. If I had a sword in my hand, I would kill you right now." Then the donkey spoke again, calmly, almost sadly. "Have I not served you faithfully your whole life? Have I ever behaved like this before?" And suddenly, Balaam had no answer, because deep down he knew something supernatural was happening. Then God opened Balaam's eyes, and finally he saw the angel, towering in the road, sword drawn, judgment waiting directly in front of him. The sight shattered him instantly. Balaam fell face down in terror. Every ounce of pride disappeared. Every trace of confidence vanished, because suddenly he realized how close he had come to death. The angel spoke with terrifying authority. "Your path is reckless before God. The donkey saw me and turned away from me these 3 times. If she had not turned away, I would have killed you." Imagine hearing those words from heaven. A prophet, a man known for spiritual power, almost destroyed because greed quietly corrupted his heart. And the terrifying part is this: Balaam still believed he was serving God. That is what makes spiritual compromise so dangerous. People do not always notice when their hearts begin drifting. Sometimes the corruption grows slowly, quietly, hidden beneath spiritual language and outward appearances. Balaam offered to turn back. Fear filled his voice, but the angel allowed him to continue with one warning. "You will only speak what God commands. No manipulation, no compromise, no hidden agenda. Only the words heaven allowed." So Balaam continued the journey trembling. When he finally arrived before King Balak, the king was eager, excited, confident. He expected curses to fall upon Israel. He expected supernatural destruction. Altars were built. Sacrifices were offered. The atmosphere was heavy with spiritual tension. But every time Balaam opened his mouth to curse Israel, blessings came out instead. Again and again, Balak became furious, confused, frustrated. "How can you bless the people I hired you to curse?" But Balaam could not override the voice of God. No amount of money could change heaven's decision. No reward could purchase spiritual authority. No king could force God to curse what he had chosen to bless. And that is what makes this story so powerful. This was never truly about a talking donkey. It was about spiritual blindness, about hidden compromise, about a man slowly walking toward corruption while convincing himself he was still righteous. Because sometimes the greatest danger is not open rebellion. Sometimes it is secretly loving what God warned you to leave alone. Sometimes people keep walking toward things heaven already warned them about. And eventually, God blocks the road. Sometimes through pain, sometimes through failure, sometimes through unexpected resistance, sometimes through complete humiliation. Not to destroy them, but to stop them before destruction fully takes hold. Balaam's donkey saw the danger before the prophet did. And that is one of the most terrifying moments in Scripture. Because knowledge alone does not protect a person from spiritual blindness. Titles do not protect people. Experience does not protect people. Even spiritual gifts do not protect people. Only obedience does. Only humility does. Only a heart fully surrendered to God does. Because something can look spiritual on the outside, while corruption quietly grows underneath. And sometimes, God will shake everything in someone's path just to stop them before it is too late.